If you're thinking about building a home here in Texas, then fasten your seatbelt because this video is going to save you thousands of dollars. So today I'm going to be talking about the types of new construction that you should avoid like the plague. Now, after helping so many families here locally and a lot of people relocate from different areas and different states, I've really had my share and understand what builders are like here in the DFW. I've seen quite a few different scenarios, and let me just tell you, they're all not sugar and candy.
You can see just the extensiveness of how bad they messed up. Because, I mean, they're not going to give you a brand new house with the ceiling missing.
From construction delays to, pushy salespeople to literally having beer cans in your walls. Building a home can either be a really rewarding process or it can just be a complete cluster. You know what the rest is. The internet is full of horror stories of how one builder messed up in one way or the other. And just to be honest, you guys really wouldn't even believe all the tales that I've heard. Just imagine buying a $400,000 house with the biggest home builder in America and not being able to move into your own home because they messed up. But look, this video isn't about trying to scare you from home ownership and new construction as a whole. It's about keeping you informed so when it is your turn to do a new build, you can confidently say, I'm ready to do this. So whether you agree or disagree, guys, do me a favor, drop us a comment. Tell us what your experience was like when you built your first home. So first up, avoid new construction communities with useless HOAs, right? Now, I know many of you think all HOAs are useless, but a lot of the newer communities are actually very good to have in place, right? You get all the amenity centers, you get the different pools, the playgrounds, the dog parks, and some even host different community events, right? I mean, it makes sense, right? To pay a quarterly fee for the maintenance, for the access, and just the overall quality of life that you get in the new neighborhood. But on the flip side, I have seen communities with HOAs that offer pretty much nothing. No amenities, no green spaces, no parks. It's really just a way for people to govern how you live without adding any value to your life. If you encounter a builder with an HOA, ask them why it's in place in the first place, right? And if they can't give you just a good enough reason, walk away. Go somewhere where your money actually gets you something of value. In a perfect world, builders would always stand by their product, make sure things live up to their expectations, but we don't live in a perfect world, do we? We live in the real world where, corners can be cut and expectations can be overpromised and underdelivered. Now, one of the best ways to get the real scoop is to check out the community Facebook groups, right? In a lot of these established communities, residents will share their experiences with their homes, they'll share their experiences with the builders, they'll tell you about all the problems, what they like, what they don't like, and just an overall consensus about the community itself. Now, for some of the newer developments, you can check out reviews on Yelp, Google, and other sites like that. You can really dive into what people are saying about the builder and their sales reps. Look, nobody's perfect, right? But you can at least set your proper expectations for yourself before you dive into such a big life decision. So the next type of new construction that you're going to want to avoid is the model home packages. Let me explain. So when you first come into the community, guys, just look for the flagpoles. These will most likely always be your model homes that the builders take a lot of pride in. When you walk inside these homes, you just get a feeling of all kind of possibilities that are going to be endless, right? Online, you see the prices that the homes are starting at, and you think to yourself, wow, I can really afford to have all this type of home for that price? And your first thought is, where do I sign? But two things really come into play here. Number one, the model home has tons of upgrades, right? The extra upgrades that are going to cost you an arm and a leg over the base price, especially if you want the builder to install it. Most of the time, you can get those upgrades done cheaper by someone on Thumbtack or TaskRabbit. Builders charge a premium for these extras, and a lot of the upgrades don't usually hold their value after the resale. A lot of those upgrades are often seen as personal preferences and don't translate into a higher sales price when it's time to sell your home. You're actually better off having, a builder do the basics in most of the areas of the home. What I tell a lot of my clients is you want to spend a lot of your money in the kitchens, bathroom, the flooring, and your master bedrooms, right? That's where you tend to get the most return on your investment. Things like lighting, fixtures, ceiling fans, accent walls, etc. You can do it all yourself over time. Another tip I would give you is to stay away from those mega home builders. Those massive companies that tried to build the cheapest and quickest homes as possible. Some of the largest home builders in the country are notorious for trying to maximize profits over people. When it comes to buying their homes or recommending them to my clients, I kind of have a point of contention doing so, right? It's really hard for me to do that unless those are the only homes that my clients can afford and they want to get into the property game altogether. Look, these builders are really upfront about cutting costs. They put it in all their advertising and they're letting you know upfront what they really prioritize. They boast about building more houses faster and at a cheaper price. Personally, I prefer regional builders, right? They're big enough to source, great product for your project, but at the same time, they're small enough to pay attention to the details when they're doing your project. They understand local styles and preferences, and oftentimes they really do their own warranties in-house as well. Like I said, I understand the importance of affordability, and if the only way you're going to get into, owning a piece of property is through one of the larger, home builders because of the price point, then you got to do what you got to do. But make sure you always check out their reputation with their reviews online, speak to other people who might have lived in those homes. Again, touch on those Facebook groups because you can get a plethora of knowledge from those areas. And of course, make sure you always get an inspection. And this is why you guys really need to have a real estate agent on your side, because they're going to be your advocate. This is why so many people reach out to us. We know the areas, we understand the builders, and we can really guide you in the right area if you want to move to Dallas. So if you're thinking about making a move, feel free to reach out. All of our contact info is down in the description below and pinned to the top of the chat. Some of the most problematic things in a home and about a home are not visible to the eye, right? They're usually behind the walls. So you want to make sure you have an inspector check every shingle, check every baseboard, check every faucet, go through and check out that home with a fine-tooth comb and really come back to you with a proper report that you can give to the builder if there's anything that needs fixing. And one thing I know for sure, if the builder makes this process hard for you, hiring an inspector, doing multiple inspections, then run for the hills in the other direction. Trust me when I say you'll definitely be dodging a bullet. I'm super excited to announce we've released our Reload Ready bundle. This is a bundle that gives you our knowledge of the Metroplex, the best areas, best food spots, best schools, and overall what to expect. We also included our Super Saver Buyer worksheet. This is going to show you how to save up to $15,000 on your closing costs using our reload strategies here in Texas. And lastly, we're going to give you access to our preferred property list. You see, when builders have inventory that they need to move, they call and give us first dibs. These are those discounted properties you won't find on Realtor or Zillow.com. So if you want exclusive access, click the link below, become a part of our inner circle where we say less and pay less. Now, back to the video that you were watching. Now look, the next type of builder that you really want to avoid are going to be the builders that are in financial trouble. Yeah, builders can go bankrupt too. Yeah, spotting a builder on the brink can be kind of tough at times, but if the salesperson is super pushy, they're slashing prices all over the place, and they have a ton of unfinished projects in the community, it's probably time for your antennas to be going up. They could end up insolvent and leave you with an unfinished home. There's tons of developments around the country, where builders didn't finish their projects and they went bankrupt. I had a client that called me and said, hey, there's this builder that's going bankrupt right now. I want to buy one of their houses. And I was like, yeah, bro, we're going to have to pass on that one. I know the chance of being able to get something cheaper in this environment that we're in with these high costs right now is definitely appealing. But like my grandmother once told me, everything that looks good ain't good for you. You see, one of the best things about a new build is the warranty that comes with them, right? If the builder's bankrupt, there's no guarantee that they'll be able to fix the warranty, and your insurance probably won't even cover it. At that point, you'd probably be better off of going to resale home because you won't have those guarantees. But at least the house has been, standing for several years and it's stable. If a builder's going through bankruptcy, the people that are actually building that house are probably not getting paid. So that doesn't mean that they're going to be incentivized to do a good job. Who knows what's behind those walls? And then one day you're sitting there eating your Fruit Loops on your couch and your ceiling falls in on your head. Look, when it's your turn to build your home, I want you to go in knowledgeable and empowered. Look, I believe in you and you got this. This is the reason, like I said, so many people reach out to us. We understand the process and can help you make the best decisions on your home buying and make your goals a reality, right? But before we go too crazy, let's dive in a little deeper into this subject. So circling back to these mega home builders, these behemoths, they often boast about their efficiency and the ability to offer lower prices. But let's be real here, guys. They achieve these lower prices by cutting costs and cutting corners. This might mean using cheaper materials or rushing the construction process, which can lead to significant problems down the road. You don't want to discover that your dream home has structural issues or subpar insulation because the builder was in a hurry to move on to their next project. When you're working with a regional or local builder, you're likely to get a more personalized service, right? These builders often have a reputation to uphold their communities, so they tend to be a little more attentive with their clients' needs and more meticulous in their work. They understand the local climate, the architectural trends, and the community standards, which can be a huge advantage. Now, moving on back to the inspections. Now, this is a crucial step that you simply cannot skip, right? Even if the builder has a stellar reputation, it's important to have a third-party inspector go through that property. They're going to look at things that you might not even think of, like the quality of the foundation, the roofing, the electrical systems, and the plumbing, right? They'll check for any potential issues that could cause problems later on. The inspector is going to provide you with a detailed report that outlines any issues they can find, giving you the leverage that you need to negotiate repairs or even just walk away from a bad deal. Now, as we come back to those bankrupt builders, if you hear that a builder is slashing prices drastically and they have a lot of unfinished projects, that's a major red flag, right? These builders might be trying to offload as much as they can before actually going under, and if they do end up going bankrupt, you could be left with a half-finished home with no recourse of getting it completed to the standards. Even more so, a bankrupt builder won't honor their warranties, which is a big significant part of the value proposition when buying new construction, right? You could end up with a home that has serious issues and no one to turn to for help. It's a risk that's just simply not worth taking. Now, with the model home packages, guys, while these model homes look fantastic with all the upgrades and high-end finishes, they often come with a hefty price tag. Builders charge a premium for these features, and you'll likely pay more than they're worth. Instead of that, just consider focusing on the basics and upgrading over time. This approach not only saves you money, but allows you to customize your home according to your personal taste and budget. Upgrades like fancy light fixtures, high-end appliances, or super premium flooring can be done later and at a lower cost. Plus, when you're ready to sell, these upgrades can be done in a way that appeals to a broader range of buyers, maximizing your return. Like I said, guys, we have a relationship with a lot of the builders here in the DFW. So if you're looking at moving to Dallas and you want to check out some more of these homes, you can check out these videos right here.